welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today we're working on Mixed Media Mayhem. It's where we take an inspiration layout and we mix it up with mixed media. I will post that layout up here in the corner for you so that you can get a good look at what we're doing. And you will notice that they used Vicki Boutin Print Shop. And because yours truly is hoarding Vicki Boutin's print shop, I am making myself pull it out. And I am going to do something similar. My layout will not look exactly like the original creators because I'm going to use some different colors of ink and I have different types of photos as well. So I did pull the pattern paper to fussy cut. I did pull 2 photos. I printed them 3x4 and I have cut them down to about 3x3. I have a piece of white cardstock to mat them. I have the stripe she used, some cardstock stickers, and a piece of Vicki Boutin Foundation's cardstock to use as my base. These are either Print Shop or Where Are We Now by Vicki Boutin. I've mixed them together because they were similar. This is one of her stencils, and I'm going to use the yellows and maybe a light orange from the Distress Ink palette. And I pulled some of the puffies to use as accents. So we're going to pause the video, we're going to work on that mixed media, and we're going to get started. I'll be right back. Alright, you've seen where I've used washi tape to adhere my stencil down to my foundation's paper. And I'm going to use the Distress Ink pads. This is Scattered Straw, and I'm just going to kind of randomly put it on the stencil. There's no method to this madness. I'm just randomly sticking it on there. And next, I'm going to grab, I believe it's Wild Honey that I grabbed next, and then I'm going to use that on there randomly. I'm just going to kind of put it on the lower half of the stencil, and I will move the stencil down the page eventually. Well, let's briefly talk about my storage system for my Distress inks. As you can see, I have the mini ink pads, and I am storing the little round sponge thing underneath each ink pad. It works pretty well. You did see right there that I could not get the one for Rusty Hinge out. It's stuck in the bottom, and that's okay. As long as you purchase the Ranger brand round daubers, they will stay in the bottom of that ink pad. But the minute that you buy, like I bought some scrapbook.com brand, A, those don't last very long, and B, they don't stay in the bottom. So that's just for your FYI. So you saw that I added some water to what I had already added to the foundation's paper, and now I'm just going to bring it down a little bit, and I'm going to add some more of the same colors of ink on that bottom piece, and then I'm going to just kind of make a huge mess with my stencil. And I really like how this ended up coming out. You'll have to just wait and see what I do next. See, note, I'm just sticking that little sponge back in the bottom of my ink pad, and I'm fixing that one because I put it in upside down, but I'm also going to use it on this stencil as well. And I'm going to use this to do some ink smushing. This is the mustard seed or scattered straw is what this one is, and I'm going to add some water. And at first, I don't quite get enough of it on there, but as I'm adding the ink and then adding some more water, it causes that reaction that you expect from those Distress ink pads. But I'm not getting enough coverage with the color that I chose, so I drag out my watercolors and I'm going to use those instead for the ink smushing. And that is when I really start getting a reaction with my Distress inks. Oh, it just turns out so really pretty. I mean, it dried gorgeous. I was really pleased with how this background turned out. I hope that you like it as well. So I am really trying to get every bit of that watercolor that I can off of my mat, and then I'm going to go ahead and work on the rest of the layout. I have already matted my photos with the white cardstock, and now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to trim off that branding strip from the top of that patterned paper, and then I'm going to cut, I believe I cut 4 inches, and then I tear a strip too, because in the original layout she has a little torn piece underneath that striped bit. Hers is a different color than mine. I think hers is one of the greens, but I'm going to use the back of this pattern paper for that. And then I'm also going to add a border sticker on there, and she didn't have that. But again, I have already said that I'm not making my layout exactly like hers. I'm using her layout as inspiration. This is not going to be an exact match. I love her layout, and I actually really loved how mine turned out as well. So I go ahead and I adhere my striped pattern paper to my foundations cardstock, and I notice that there is a little bit more on the top, that there's not coverage, and I thought, I must not have cut it 12 by 12. Guess what? I cut that 12 by 12, that foundations cardstock, 12 by 12. The paper pad for print shop is not really 12 by 12. It is about a 1/16 of an inch short of being 12 by 12. I don't know about you, but that seriously annoys me. If it's not going to be a full 12 by 12 paper, I want them to tell me it's not, because I expect it to be when I'm making a layout. And if it's not, it's good to know beforehand so that I can plan for that. Anyway, that's just one of my huge pet peeves. I am going to fix that, and I will tell you all about how I fix that at the very end. So now I've layered all 3 of my borders, and I've kind of decided where my photos are going to end up on my background, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere them as well. Next, I will start layering up some of the flowers that I fussy cut. It took about an hour to do that entire sheet of flowers. Sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's slower. This particular piece of pattern paper took me an hour. That's not a complaint. I actually don't mind fussy cutting. I fussy cut while I'm watching TV, so I'm not just fussy cutting, I'm doing something else. And plus, my best friend was visiting me from Idaho, and we were sitting and watching TV and chatting back and forth, so that hour went relatively fast. Of course it did, because I have a friend here, and it's been great having her here with me. Hi, Ryan. So I am mostly just kind of trying to layer these up as similarly as they are on the original layout as possible. I don't get them exact, I get them close. I'm also trying to use up the little partial flowers that I cut out from the edges, and I do that on purpose. I will cut out the partial flowers because I like to butt those up against the photos like you saw me do there. And so I'm just gonna try to get all of these flowers where I want them before I start adding some other things. Now, at this point, the layout is very, very similar to the original layout. My background's slightly different. Of course, my photos are different. My ink colors are different. But here's where I start going a little bit off her inspiration. I'm going to use this sticker sheet for embellishments. I'm pretty sure that she used a phrase from a Thickers or something. I don't have those, I don't think, and so I didn't have that available, but I was also trying not to pull out everything that I own from this collection. I was just pulling out what was handy, and I'm going to use mostly the things from the sticker sheet to embellish this layout. I'm going to pull in the little butterfly that looks just like her butterfly, it's just smaller. I'm going to use the word smile for my title, and I'm going to use a couple of the phrases, but I'm also going to pull in this little sticker that you see me putting down now. Now that's not on the original layout. The reason why it's showing up on my layout is because that sticker will not stay on that sticker sheet, and I was getting aggravated with it. So I'm like, fine, you're getting used. I'm also going to use quite a few of the puffy stickers on this layout as accents, and I don't believe she has anything like that on hers. But again, I wasn't trying to make my layout an exact scrap lift of hers. I was just using hers as an inspiration. And because it was such a beautiful layout, I did want to use a lot of her inspiration, but I also kind of wanted to do my own thing as well. I'm only using the hearts and the gold dots from the puffy sticker sheets. I actually adore these puffy sticker sheets. I'm very glad that I bought 2 packs. I almost use up all of the dots and hearts on this layout. And so I'm glad I have a second one because, like I said at the beginning, I've been hoarding this collection, so I have a whole bunch of it to use up. All right, I am finished with this layout. I've got everything is glued down. And while I used the same basic pattern papers from the same collection that the original creator used, my layout does look a little bit different. I didn't use the same title. I think that my flowers are kind of in a different array than hers. I used a border sticker as well as a different color of torn paper by the striped border. I added a lot of puffy stickers and stuff, and now I'm going to go ahead and add some white splatters to this layout because I think it needs some. But I do want to kind of discuss for a minute that if you notice during the video that my striped paper did not reach all the way to the top of my Vicky Boutin Foundations paper. And I was a little bit confused because I know I have not used any of the paper in that paper pad except for one sheet. And I only used a partial of that, and it is still in the paper pad. So I was like, okay, what's going on with that? Turns out that this paper pad is not quite 12 by 12. It's about a 1/16 of an inch too short from the top to the bottom where the branding strip is that you cut off. It's kind of annoying because I wish I had known that. But that is also why I stopped buying paper pads after this collection, because sometimes the paper pads are not 12 by 12, and that's aggravating to me. And I'm sure it's aggravating to other creators as well. I hate for something to be advertised as 12 by 12, and it's not. But all in all, I fixed that by mounting it on a piece of paper from Print Shop that was a single sheet, and it fixed the fact that it wasn't quite 12 by 12. I do want to thank you for stopping by my channel today. I really appreciate those of you who take the time to like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, just click that button below. If you have any questions or comments about some of the things that I have done on this video, drop that comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Make sure that you check out that hop list below my video so that you can see all of the other wonderful creators who are creating using this same layout for inspiration. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye.